Hi, I'm Tammy Lackey. This is my Pecha presentation on unconstrained learning, principles for the next generation of distance education. Quote, distance learning has arrived on the educational scene with force and impact, end quote. Mahler, Robinson, and Hewitt. Once considered a last option for learners is now a valuable opportunity for almost every learning context. However, the driving force behind many institutions of higher learning providing distance education has not been so focused on substance or rich learning experiences, but on revenue and market share. Capitalizing on this new and rapidly growing market, unfortunately, distance education programs have left many learners intellectually starved and not economically advantaged. So did technology make learning better? Is the new school better than the old? Well, until recent years, they've been about the same. Most programs base their models on the familiar traditional classroom as the ideal, replicating the classroom model at a distance and operating as before, even in the midst of all the opportunities that technology afforded. The first generation of distance education began with offering correspondence courses. Learning was communicated through mail or via email and was not led by technology. The second generation distance education was a little more sophisticated and used a few more of the affordances of technology, such as online discussions and online chats, and the use of internet-based courses. Both first and second generations offered ineffective approaches to learning and did not take full advantage of the potential of technology. However, with the growing demand of distance education and increased realizations that distance learning must take place in technology-enabled learning environments, spaces that have increased access to communication connections and options for the learning, improved capacity for data transmission and reliability, and breadth of potential experience without bounds. The next generation of distance learning will not be constrained by the limitations of a traditional classroom. The available technology allows new experiences in learning design to emerge. The next generation will push learning by optimally leveraging multi-dimensional spaces to its fullest potential. The next generation of distance education offers 10 guiding principles. The first principle seeks for distance education to develop learners using sound instructional strategies by first articulating clear learning objectives, and second, seeing the affordances of available technology. Technology becomes more than a vehicle of delivery of information and instruction. The second guiding principle pushes toward technology-based environment. Technology now becomes an environment facilitator. Decisions must be made on how to use technology to achieve specific learning outcomes. From static podcasts, videos, and webcasts to dynamic simulations and gaming and everything in between, the options and combinations of instructional strategies and applicable technologies are limitless. The third principle meets the need for people to connect and be part of a community. Technology can be key to connecting people. It would be prudent for the next generation of distance education to use social connections at the level and strength of these successful social networking sites like Twitter, Facebook, and even Match.com to facilitate deeper and more satisfying personal connections. The fourth guiding principle emphasizes collaboration over cooperation. Both environments include groups of people working together to achieve a common goal. However, cooperation members divide up the work, whereas in collaboration, members work together on each piece. Although collaboration creates more work and can be less efficient than cooperation at times, the learning is much deeper and more robust. The fifth guiding principle is guided by the next generation learners demanding new ways to learn. Demands include more personalized learning, learner-centered instruction, empowered learning, and technology-enhanced learning. These demands put tremendous pressures on schools to make the shift, but is the new way for distance education to service their learners. The sixth guiding principle focuses on the processes of learning. using tools like simulators, modeling and gaming, cloud computing with systems like Google and Yahoo to actively construct learning experiences. The seventh guiding principle is characterized by evaluating practices that value higher level cognitive processing and real world problem solving. Alongside demonstrating the specific performance objective, the higher cognitive process components of Bloom's taxonomy should be targeted for students to demonstrate as well. The eighth guiding principle leads to revisions of rules and roles to match requirements of learners, faculty, and other stakeholders. This can include revising areas of strategic planning and course offerings, equitable tuition, curriculum development and training, embracing diversity, changing statements of visions and missions, and of course, focusing on the infrastructure. The ninth guiding principle focuses on the motivation design of instruction. Motivation of learners is key to the act of learning. Keller's learning motivation model shown here is one of the most useful models for motivation, which charts flow, the phenomenon of being so engaged in an activity that you lose track of time. Game developers and cinematic researchers have mastered this art of engagement. Next generation of distance education would do well to learn from them. The 10th and final principle focuses on a paradigm shift in design of distance education. Technology must be optimally employed. It must compete for mindshare with other life experiences. There is a need to design learning environments that are learner-centered and engage the learner with fidelity. Honestly, distance education is just getting started in this direction. The opportunities are vast, and the ability to create resonant distance learning experience is a valuable option. In my own learning environment, like in the fourth principle, we are slowly moving from direct instruction to cooperative learning with the end goal of having a true collaborative learning environment to achieve rich, deep individual learning. Also, like in the ninth principle, motivating students is a moving target in my learning environment. Balancing challenging but not too difficult tasks to keep the learner engaged is a process that needs constant attention and one that I work on daily. The pillar of learning was a common thread throughout the reading. Next generation of distance education is pushing towards creating learning environments that include instruction that is learner-centered, evidence-based, and matches the individual need of each learner. The next generation of distance education also connects to the pillar of accountability. Goals and strategies are established to improve learning. Programs are being held accountable to be responsive to all learners with transparent and equitable educational outcomes.